Happy Friday. I'm excited to be here and meet with you today. I want to talk about the 4 levels of consciousness and how it affects your business success. Because let's face it, entrepreneurship is the ultimate self-development. So that means when you start a business, either online or offline, you are going to come up with yourself. You're actually improving yourself in this process. And business success requires you to overcome your deep-seated insecurities, self-unworthiness that you might be raised with. So you have to rise in consciousness and to achieve the ultimate business success in a way that's in alignment with who you really are. So today I'm going to talk about the 4 levels of consciousness and how it affects your business. By understanding this principle, you can start to rise in consciousness, in awareness, and start to realize the power of your own thought. How you think determines how you act and the results you get. You start to understand firsthand the power of your own thinking and how you think. So let's move forward. Consciousness can stay in 4 levels. And these are 4 states of consciousness. And at each level, your thinking, how you think, and how you behave is drastically different. So by analyzing your own thoughts and how you interact with the world, you can figure out where you are operating your thoughts from. So by understanding that, you can then be more conscious and be able to control, or I know control is a bad word, but it's to be aware of how you're thinking and adjust how you think to achieve what you want. So these 4 levels of consciousness, we are all vibrating at different levels. Maybe sometimes we are on the 1st level, other times we may be on the 3rd. So don't make it feel like it's a fixed thing. So the 4 levels are represented by 4 types of animals. The first level of consciousness is represented by Cobra, showing here the Cobra. And at this, most of people operating on this level of consciousness. On the Cobra level, I'm going to talk about more in detail is how we are rooted in the physical. And if we perceive someone hurt us, we need to fight back. So that's the level of consciousness is we are reacting. The second level of consciousness is Jaguar. So a Jaguar is now, other than the Cobra is they're slithering on the ground. The Jaguar is higher. So this level of consciousness represents the intellect. Now you are using your reasoning and logic to analyze your results instead of unconsciously reacting to things, environment, and to interaction with other people. And the 3rd level of consciousness is represented by the hummingbird. Now the hummingbird can fly, it's higher above the ground. It represents a level of consciousness where you can look inwards inside your own thoughts to look for patterns and start to realize how you think determines what type of results you get. So that's even deeper level of consciousness. The 4th level of consciousness is represented by the eagle. Now the eagle is soaring up high in the sky and overlooking everything. The eagle can see everything clearly with clear vision. So at this level of consciousness is this is when you achieve the ability to see everything as is and accept everything as is. You are not responding. Now you're seeing beauty in everything just the way they are. So that is the level of consciousness of the ego. Very few people can achieve this level of consciousness to the ego level, where they see everything just as is, or they're not bothered by what we would think normally bad happenings. To them, it just is. There is no good or bad. There is no beauty or ugly. So it's a different out of this world type of perception, and it's beyond spiritual awakening. Like I said, very few people can reach this level. Even if you achieve this level, it's a fleeting experience. You don't stay there all the time. You may have brief moments that you feel the connectivity of everything. You feel the oneness in everything and beauty in everyone. So let's dive deeper into this and understand how it affects our business success. In fact, this not only affects our business success, it affects us in every single aspect. It affects our relationships, it affects our finances, it affects our well-being. So it affects everything. So let's look at the first level is a Cobra level. Like I said, this level is reactive. You're simply reacting to other people, to outer circumstance. So the phrase for this, the characteristic for this level is an eye for an eye. Now imagine you're driving on the highway and you're following all the rules. You're so careful, but suddenly someone so recklessly jumped in line, cut you off, and almost caused an accident. Or you might be a senior citizen, or you're driving so slow and careful, and then someone honked at you. You were so startled, and you're so upset. Or it could be there's some road rage. Someone, for some reason, flipped a finger at you. How would you feel? Ask yourself. Put yourself in that position. Perhaps you had such experiences before. How did it make you feel? If you're like most people, you're probably agitated or upset, angry, and you may flip a finger back at them. What is happening in this situation? It tells that you are operating on the first level of consciousness, which is the Cobra level. You are in a reactive mode. It's an eye for an eye. If someone did something to you, you have to retaliate. So that's the level of the first level of consciousness, the Cobra level, and you take it personally. Whatever other people do to you, or it seems like they're doing bad things to you, you are simply reacting to situations, events, and other people. And when things happen, you take that as a personal insult, so to speak. So how you feel is totally determined by what is happening outside of you. Even when you are the driver being taken advantage of and you don't, let's say on the surface level, you're being polite. You're not flipping a finger back. But on some level, you are still upset. You are just suppressing that anger and bearing that because you think that's not socially polite. That also indicates you are operating on the first level of consciousness. It's a Cobra level because you make that event to be something about you. You are triggered. So that's the word. You're triggered. Now, how this applies in your business? You can think about this. You get on a call with a prospect and so you can close the sale or something, but they said no at the end. They said no to you. I don't want your coaching. Even if you offer free coaching, if you are a coach just starting out, say, oh, I want to give 10 people free coaching, and then someone come to you, and after the sales conversation, they said no to you. Think about how you will feel. You probably feel so deflated or discouraged. You have that sinking feeling inside of you. So that tells that you are operating on the first level of consciousness, the Cobra level. You're making that event, making that no to be about you. That's why it affects you emotionally. So when you are affected in a negative way emotionally, it only tells that you are operating on the Cobra level. Here's another example. Because I'm talking about the consciousness and business success. So I'm going to use in terms of business. Now you're someone starting out. You have a whole full-time job, and now you started a new business. And then you talk with your friend. You're so excited talking about your business. But then your friend said, what? You think you can do that? Like they cast their doubt on you. And on hearing that, you have this sinking feeling and you feel discouraged. You feel so bad, and you don't even you feel afraid to even talk about your business anymore. So what does that tell you? So when you are being affected by what other people say and do, and you feel so rightful to have that feeling, it's because you're operating on the first level of consciousness. You are simply reacting, and everything other people said or do or events or circumstance, you made it about you. You internalized that and made it about you. It says something about you, something bad about you. So that's the first level of consciousness. And if you want to achieve business success, you want to get out of this level as fast as you can. Now let's go to the second level of consciousness, is the Dragwa level. The Dragwa level is at the level of the intellect. Now you can logically analyze why they think what they think, why they do what they do. So when you are interacting with clients or other people, and they're casting their doubt about your business, instead of immediately go inwards and blaming yourself and find yourself unworthy, now you are saying why they do what they do. So let's use the example of the road rage again. You are this driver who follow all the rules, and there's someone cut through you and flip finger at you. So instead of getting immediately angered and triggered, at this level of consciousness, you can somewhat calm down yourself and think about this way. You say, why does a person do that? What type of education that person get? What type of person that flips finger, on the road? So on this level, you are not immediately reacting and internalizing the event as something about you. Now you are seeing from a higher perspective now. You're seeing, is that person perceiving like that? There have to be some reason within them that generated that behavior. So now let's go back to the business model. Let's say you are a new coach and you talk to a friend so excited about your business, and they cast their doubt on you. They say, you can do that? Are you sure? You're not meant to be doing that. And now, instead of going immediately triggered in a negative emotion and start doubting yourself, now you can ask, what type of experience does my friend have for her or him to say that about my business? She doesn't know about my business. So you see, you are changing your perspective. You're looking in their perspective. So this is you're just rise higher in consciousness, and this is a good thing. So you don't self-blame and you don't self-doubt immediately. You don't simply react to the situation, events, and your interaction with other people. You can look at it from an intellectual perspective. So you want to at least get to this level if you are running a business. However, this is not the highest level you can get. And so let's go to the third level of consciousness. And I encourage you, not only business owners, but everyone, to try to rise into the third level of consciousness, because when you do that, you become the creator of your own life. You become be responsible for your own thinking, your thoughts. You realize your thought creates the results. So the hummingbird level is retrospective. You now think about why I feel the way I feel. You start to look for reasons within yourself. This is different than the first level of consciousness, when you internalize events about, you make everything about you. The third level is also make everything about you, but it's very subtle difference. It's like very different. Let me explain. So at this level, you ask yourself, why I feel the way I feel? What am I thinking that enabled me to feel that way? So you're digging to the source of your feelings and your emotions and finding out what is the subconscious thoughts you are holding within you that created that feeling in your interaction with other people. For example, let's use the road rage again. You are driving, following all the rules, and someone cuts through you and they flip finger at you. So instead of immediately react to the situation and being angry, like the first level, now you're asking yourself, let's say you are still feeling some emotions inside of you, and you ask yourself, why I feel that emotions? What thought am I holding inside of me that allow me to feel that way? So you're not blaming that person who flipped finger at you. You are simply looking for reasons within yourself. Here is another metaphor that can help you better understand what this level of consciousness is about. Now imagine there's a pile of thought on the table, on the dinner table, and it's summertime, you are wearing flip-flops. And then for some reason, it doesn't matter what reason, for some reason, the pile of thought fall onto your foot. What is your reaction for that? You probably will be fine. If you're like most people, you're fine. You dust it off and clean up the thought, throw it in the trash, and it's over. But now imagine the second scenario. Same event, same happening, exactly the same, except for that you have a wound, you have a cut on your foot. Now imagine that you have a cut on your foot. Normally it does not hurt. You're not even aware you have a cut on your foot because you don't have any hurt. You don't have any pain. Now you're sitting by the table, the thought for whatever reason falls onto your foot. Think about the reaction you have. It's created this intense feeling of pain. And you might be angry, you might be upset and blaming the thought, or blaming the people who put the thought there, or blaming whoever get the thought on your foot, or maybe it's the wind. You're just blaming them. That tells you you're on the first level of consciousness. or reacting. But if you are on the third level of consciousness, which is hummingbird level, you look within yourself and ask yourself, why do I have this pain? You will realize because it's not because the thought fall onto your foot, because in the first scenario, when you do not have a wound, you did not have any pain. Same thing happened, same circumstance, same event, same situation. But now you look inwards and you realize it's because you are carrying inner wound. That wound is not hurting regularly, but because of the thought, it reveals to you that you have a wound there. Now you can look at that thought, look within you and find the source of the pain is always within you, because you are carrying past trauma within you that you're not even aware. Now let's go back to the example of business. Let's say you are a life coach just starting out. You're telling your friend about how excited you are starting this business, and your friend start casting doubt on your business. Do you feel upset? And why? And so if you rise consciousness to the third level of consciousness, which is hummingbird level, you look at your own thoughts and ask why I feel agitated by my friend's comment about my business. You will realize there are deep-seated insecurity within yourself because you are not trusting yourself in business 100% yet. Because if you can trust yourself 100%, you are 100% self-confident. Why does it matter what other people say to you? So what other people say to you is like the thought getting onto your foot. If you feel agitated, if you feel that pain, that means you have deep-seated wound within you. It's only revealed to you what you are carrying inside of you. So on this third level of consciousness, you can analyze events like that and take full responsibility for how you feel. It's because of how you are thinking, and how you are thinking is based on your beliefs about yourself. It only tells you that you're not 100% believing in yourself yet. So by doing that, you stop blaming anything outside of you. You start to take full responsibility for your own thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your subsequent actions and results. So you would thank the person who seemingly triggered you, because they revealed to you your own inner wound, your own inner security. Without them, you would not have discovered yourself on such a deep level. So if you are a business owner, I encourage you to rise in consciousness and understand the levels of consciousness and figure out where you are operating from. And when you rise higher in your understanding, you're higher in consciousness, you will see that you create your own reality and you create your own success. It doesn't matter what other people say or do, or they say no to you. It's how you feel about it, how you interpret the event. And it's always a feedback system about your own thoughts. It's about there's something about you need to improve. So this third level, as you can tell, it is not a consciousness that everyday people you see are operating from. This is something you need to strive to get to. And the first level, let's go to the first level of consciousness, the ego level. Like I said before, the ego level of consciousness, very few people can reach this level. And even if they do, it's short-lived, it's fleeting. You may, in brief seconds, have this reach this level where you see oneness, where you see perfection in everything and anything. So you operate from a higher dimension. You see perfection in everything. Duality ceases to exist, where there's no good or bad. There is no beautiful or ugly. Everything just is. You accept everything as is. So even someone say something bad about your business, you still love that person. You can still appreciate them, even though you disagree with what they said. But deep down, you know that what they said, they are still perfect. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, they're still perfect. Like I said, in business, you can strive to achieve to the third level of consciousness. And the fourth level, we can try, but it's not a guarantee, or we shouldn't be upset if we cannot achieve that level. So because at this level, you are as a truly letting go. So if you are upset about yourself not getting there, that's also a sign you're not there. So it's kind of tricky. You have to surrender. Now, that's why I want to introduce to you this concept of the 4 levels of consciousness and how to rise in consciousness so you can achieve a business success as the soul being that you truly are. So entrepreneurship is the ultimate self-development, and self-development requires you to rise in consciousness. So when you do this type of deep inner work, you will come out the other end as much better entrepreneur, much better business owner. Not only that, you are a much better human being. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Put comments below, or if you have any questions, put in the comment. I'll see you next time.